Connection and inspiration meet.
I'm DJ Hamoris.
And I'm Erin May Lewis.
Together, we're your hosts for these beautiful conversations that celebrate the vibrant women of the Dulcimer community.
Since June of 2022, Dulcimoon Talks have brought you into the lives and stories of extraordinary women, leaders, teachers, producers, and artists who are shaping and sharing the art of the dulcimer in unique ways.
Our guests come from all walks of life. Many balance their passion for dulcimers with careers far outside the music world. Yet they all share one thing, a deep love for the dulcimer and the joy it brings to teaching, practicing, performing, and creating.
Each episode is an intimate journey exploring personal musical paths, sources of inspiration, and the beautiful ways dulcimers weave into our lives. Think of it as the kind of meaningful conversation you'd have while sharing a meal at a festival. A mix of insight, laughter, and heartfelt connection.
Whether you're a long-time dulcimer enthusiast or just curious about this amazing world, Dulcimoon Talks are here to inspire, inform, and delight.
We release new talks twice monthly and are thrilled to have you on this journey with us. Make sure to subscribe and join the growing community as we honor the magic of dulcimers and the people who make them sing.
Dulcimoon Talks, sharing stories,
celebrating connections,
keeping the music alive.
Hi, friends. Welcome to Dulcimoon Talk number 69 with Jan Hammond.
Hey!
Hi, Jan. It's so good to have you here with us today.
I am honored and so happy to be here. What you have been carrying on now up to already volume or issue 69 is just fabulous. I've watched so many of them, so many ladies I know, some of them I had never heard of. So it's really, what a meaningful connection and a way of communicating. It's just so special. Thank you.
Our stories are really powerful, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And to be able to share them, it feels like really an honor. Like I feel like I'm super lucky to be the person who gets to share these conversations and to sit down with folks and just chat about life a bit. So I'm really excited to chat with you too, because I haven't caught up with you in a long time. We were kind of at a lot of the same festivals for a little while in there and competing at the same time. And then our paths diverged in different directions. So I'm really, really pleased to get to catch up and hear about what you're working on these days.
Thank you.
But let's start sort of more at the beginning of your musical journey and tell us how did it start? How did you get into dulcimers? What's your musical background like?
Way back in the day. No, I was born and raised in Northeast Ohio. My mom was from Wadsworth and my dad was from West Virginia. And my mother played the piano all of her life. And while I never learned it, there was always music in that regard. My dad loved country music, so while he was listening to George Jones and Tammy Wynette and watching Hee Haw, Mom was listening to like Andy Williams and things like that. But Tijuana Brass, those kind of things. But, yeah, so I loved music. I remember, status symbol at slumber party being how many 45s you had in the box that you brought to the party.
I love that.
And I would just wear out my favorite records and sing along, and I had a little pair of maracas, and I would shake my maracas, and I love music. It's been a part of me. And my grandmother on my dad's side told me that her Uncle Jim, I think it was Uncle Jim, I have a picture of him on a horse. She said he could play anything that you put in, any instrument you put in his hand. So I think it has come down through the gene pool. And he was an immigrant from Ireland. So that's where I think part of my just organic innate, just in my being, the sounds of Ireland and the dronal quality of the dulcimer just sucked me in, immediately. But I didn't. I started in the fourth grade. Everybody had to take the little melody flute, and they were horrible. And then the fifth grade, we got real instruments, and I took a cornet. But there were lots of really good trumpet players, so I thought, well, I'm never going to sit better than probably first chair, third section. So they asked if anybody would be interested in trying the baritone. And much later in life, I learned that everybody has a resonant tone. And the low tones are my moment. They're just where I live. And the piccolos drove me crazy. So I switched to the baritone and I stayed there. But when I graduated, the baritone belonged to the school, so I had to surrender it back. And I did have a guitar that I inherited when I was about 15. And I messed around with a little bit. I carried off to church camp and things. I could play a few chords, just enough to be dangerous. But it wasn't until probably the early 80s that I really, the dulcimer really came on my radar. I mean, I knew Joni Mitchell growing up, all that, but we went to a local craft fair. It was in an outdoor campground kind of place. It was called the Yankee Peddler, and in Canal Fulton, Ohio, and they had crafters like blacksmiths and potters and weavers and artists and musicians and
Uh-oh. We have a little freezing. Hopefully it's going to come back in a second. Technology is our friend. Thanks for standing by. Oh no. Oh, she's completely frozen on my end. Stand by, friends. We're going to keep working on the technology and try to get it back. In worst case scenario, we'll check back in a little bit later and continue the live stream from here. Yeah, we lost her. So stand by if you can, and we will see if we can get Jan back on. She's in a place where the internet was a little bit wobbly and we thought we had it all working, That's what we always hope for, is that the internet works perfectly. And sometimes it just isn't as cooperative. Here she comes.
Did we lose me?
We lost you for a minute, but it looks like you're back, so we'll just try and pick up where we left off. So where you froze for me, you had just said that you were at the Yankee Peddler craft fair in Ohio, and that's where we left off.
Yeah, the dulcimer, the music was drifting through the woods, and I sought out the booth, and I don't know if you caught the part, but it was a gentleman from Asheville, North Carolina, Green River Dulcimers, and ended up getting a dulcimer that day, but it was an early Christmas present, and it sat under the bed for a really long time. The music, the books, the tablature, none of that made much sense because it was just really notes with one number above it, and it said Ionian or Aeolian or Dorian or Mixolydian, and none of that made sense to me whatsoever. So it was a long time before I saw an announcement that the local community college or the local university was having a continuing education class in the evenings on mountain dulcimer. And I was so stoked, and I thought, well, this is great, but it was on an evening. I had something else. I can't remember what was going on, but I couldn't make it. So I contacted the lady who was teaching, and I met and became extremely close friends with Diana Bergman. And for those of you who know who Diana Bergman is, Diana was his mom, and she was my mentor and my friend and an inspiration. And I took private lessons from her, and through her I met Vicki Gombowski, who later ran the classes too. When Diana couldn't do it anymore, and Vicki ran the local dulcimer club, the mixed up strings. So we got to be friends, and I would go to the jams when I could. I was working full time. I had a horse and a lot of things going on, very busy. So it was kind of off and on for a long time. And it was Diana who encouraged me, and prodded that I try the dulcimer contest at the Mid-Eastern Regionals, which was actually a Winfield qualifier. And I won that. I competed down there a good bit, but I mean, there were some really good players that came in, Michael Scholl and was there. Lots of wonderful players. But I just want to say before, forget, the people and the connections that I made through that music. It's ineffable. Paul Conrad and I wrote songs together for a while, and one of our songs is called Ineffable. It's just something you cannot put words to. It's just been the most meaningful thing in my life, to save my life, I think, at times.
I totally understand. So I don't know Diana or Vicky. Will you just tell us a story about them, maybe?
Yeah, well, Diana, like I said, was Tina Bergman's mom. And Tina was about 13 when I met them, and you could barely see her over the hammered dulcimer that she was learning to play. And Diana played mountain dulcimer and banjo uke, which I also have gotten addicted to and have more than I want to admit. But anyways, so they had their own little band, and Tina would play hammer, and Diana would play, and there was a young gentleman that played fiddle, and David, a gentleman that played a washtub bass, and they were called strings and things. I'm a graphic designer by trade. That's been my career all my life, and I actually photographed with an old 4x5 view camera a picture that was used, and I designed the cover of one of their albums. But so they also hosted a jam, and I would go to the jams, and that's where I learned so much. I really, really always have encouraged students, especially at festivals, jam with people. You can learn so much. It's such a valuable tool, and I still remember the tunes that they played, and you don't hear them everywhere in the country. I've been all over the country, and there are regional sets, there's some that are everywhere, but there are some.
What's your favorite tune or tunes that were kind of local?
I don't know if they were totally local, but some of the ones they played were like Doctor Doctor. Have you ever heard Doctor Doctor?
No.
Oh my gosh, it's a fun tune. Of course, Whiskey Before Breakfast, and there was another one. I'm losing track. There were a bunch of them that's where I learned them from. Diana actually taught me using Lois Hornbustle's book. Okay. A lot of the tunes I learned from her, Parting Glass and her Celtic melodies and things like that. It's, wonderful tunes. And again, they really resonated with me. And
we have a bit of freezing again. Stand by. Don't go anywhere. She'll come back. The internet is just a little bit unstable this morning. This is, I did not ever know the connection between Jan and Tina Bergman and Tina's mom teaching. There's so many threads that weave together in the dulcimer community. And when you start to pull on one, you run into all of the other women who've been woven together with each of those threads. It's just really, really cool. So we'll keep pausing for a moment here and hope that we can get Jan back online again. There we go. It sort of does this process where it freezes and then it kicks them out, and then they'll be able to reconnect, and hopefully we'll be able to carry on. And we'll try to come through and edit out the pauses and
I'm back. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's okay.
I don't know what's causing it. Probably my connection. It's really windy here today. But so where did we leave off the last time?
Yes. You had just talked about learning out of Lois Hornbustle's book.
Yeah. Her book. And so yeah, Vicky Gomboski, like I said, she was a wonderful dear friend and still is. And I love hearing from her. We don't chat as often as we should, but we had dulcimers by a lot of the same builders, and some circle dulcimer wise, but we shared a lot of things in common, and our love of horses and things like that. She's an incredible artist. When my mom's dog died, she did a portrait of the dog that is just the most magnificent thing. It just captured her spirit, not just her likeness. So she's a very talented lady. But anyway, so after that, I just started going to festivals and taking workshops. And then I went to where I was teaching workshops and performing, and I had a guitar partner for about 5 years, a gentleman from Canton that played guitar like nothing else. He could play anything, and I was always honored to play with him. And when I was on stage with him, I felt somewhat bulletproof because I knew if I stumbled, he had my back and could just improvise us right out of it, But he could play Chet Atkins and jazz and bluegrass, just about anything. So we had a really unique sound, and we did a duet CD together, and he's passed away, but again, just some amazing connections that never would have happened had it not been for the dulcimer. It has just, and then I later did go through the MHTP program to be a certified music practitioner, and there again, the dulcimer is so perfect for the bedside use, and as you know, Aaron, obviously, but it's just right, and people, a lot of times it would be the icebreaker to get me into a room to see a patient. What is that? Or they'd hear me playing near the nurse's station or the family room and ask me to come to the room to play. And I kept a journal through that entire process, and I read through it now and I cry. It's so profound, the things that happen. It's just never ceases to amaze me. I haven't been able to get back to doing that work down here, but I still want to. And now that I fully retired at the end of March last year from my full-time job, I'm still freelancing.
Yes.
I'm still freelancing 2 magazines, and that's a funny story altogether because it was Dan Landrum's the one that hooked me up with the magazine job. It's kind of interesting, but I helped with DPN for just an issue or two, and we met this other magazine guy through the same printer, and
Wow.
and it just mushroomed. Oh, that was a bad one. It's actually that was really bad. It's a mushroom magazine, so it mushroomed from there.
That's fantastic.
That was really bad, but yeah. I keep busy that way. I'm still creating lots of tab and really preparing for my trip to Oregon in June for the wonderful festival out there. Thanks to Heidi Miller for inviting me, and I'm so excited to meet all of the folks there. I've never been to that part of the country, and
You're gonna love it. It's
yeah,
so beautiful. And the people who play Mountain Dulcimer everywhere are amazing. So you're not gonna bump into any bad apples anywhere you go with a dulcimer. But the scenery is just lovely and beautiful.
I can't wait to hike some too, because I'm an outdoors. I'm outdoors. I'm an outdoors girl. I'm an old tomboy, and yeah, I just really can't wait to experience the whole thing, and really looking forward to meeting everybody there.
Yeah. So one of the questions that also often sort of arises when we're talking to women who are playing the mountain dulcimer is how have you balanced the music part of your life against the other parts of your life? And it sounds like you've really had you've always kept a very full life with a lot of different things that you're doing. So how does it feel like, how would you describe, I guess, how music has sort of like been a part of that, or how you've maybe created balance with that?
That has been an incredible challenge, of course. And, I only had one child, my daughter, and she's fully grown, of course, and now I have 3 grandkids. But your time is so precious. And I would take my dulcimer to work with me, and I'd go to the park at lunchtime and play. And when I did my MHTP internship, I would go before work and play early in the morning at hospice. And it is difficult, but it's something that
Oh no. Oh no. Another freeze. I really want to hear the answer to this. Stand by. Thanks for your patience, friends. Sometimes when we're live streaming, this is the challenge of that is the internet is what it is on the day we choose to do it, and it is spring, so we get wind and storms and things. Yeah, and Jan is joining us from rural Alabama, so feeling grateful that she's been able to connect with us at all. Yeah, hang in there. If you are watching and you have questions for Jan too, let us know. You can put your questions in the chat and we can make sure that we bring those forward. Here we go!
It's happening. It gives me time to get a drink of water, though. So
that's right. You can gather your thoughts. So yes, I heard it's difficult, but
it's just it's something that it's as vital as as drinking water for me. I need it, and it nourishes me in ways I can't even explain. But when I was competing, as you take pieces to a level that you never thought you could, and I think that was when I would have quiet time by myself. That's when those things kind of happen. You can explore and see what works, and so there's so many facets of what my dulcimer career has been. And unfortunately, there were a lot of times I had to turn down opportunities because of my work and things like that, and it is very difficult to navigate that landscape, but it's so worth it.
Yeah. And the idea of doing what we can when we can and say yes to the things that you can, and the rest are there are times when I have this feeling of like, oh no, I need to say yes to every single opportunity that comes my way, because what if it never comes around again, and it's like, well, you actually can't say yes to every single thing ever, and so you just kind of have to like pick and choose some of the time.
Part of my upbringing was strong women, very strong women, but they were also so service-minded, They sacrifice their own things to keep everyone else happy and everyone else healthy and everyone else fed and all of that. And of course, that's learned behavior that I can't escape either. But that's why, you're right. It just takes, and I had a hard time saying no to things.
I was talking to one of my mentors recently, and they told me that they've just officially retired from a few things, and they were finding that they didn't feel the need to just fill their calendar with all the things anymore. And I said, how did you get there? And they said, well, I spent years and years overfilling my calendar. And I was like, oh, so I just have to pay my dues. I just have to.
Yep, it is a process, and I'm finally the old crone. I get to be the one, to sit back and hopefully, offer some assistance to the ones coming up. But you, Erin, and all of what I consider, the younger generation, and all of that is so enlightening. And I mean, so encouraging, because you go to a lot of the dulcimer events, and a lot of them are retired folks, or, people that finally have time to discover a new instrument and things like that. And it's marvelous, and I love that. But I'm doing the same thing. But it's so great to see, like I said, the younger folks doing their thing, and the dulcimer has evolved so much, and it's that there's people still carrying on the very basic traditional noter style, and then there's people that are just like butch out there, vamping it up with all
Right.
kinds of.
Looping pedals and all kinds of things, right?
It's it's just it's just that versatile, It
Yeah.
really is, and that's what I
Yeah.
love about it too. But
So you started with some background with guitar. Did you end up, well, you said banjo uke has kind of also been an instrument, or are there any other instruments beside the mountain dulcimer that have sort of carried through your life music with you?
I have a couple five-string banjos. I took lessons on that for a while, but I had a bad wrist fracture some years ago, and it doesn't allow me to hold that position for very long. It has affected my dulcimer playing slightly. If I hang on a bar chord too long, I can feel it. But I don't even know how many instruments I.
Ah, darn. Okay. She froze again, but don't worry. We'll just kind of pause and pick up the pieces. Think of this. So we like to think of these Dulcimoon Talks conversations like the conversations you have at the meal time or in the hallways at a Dulcimer festival. So if you show up at a Dulcimer festival and you start chatting with someone, how many times do you start chatting with someone and then there's a little distraction or disruption or some announcements that have to happen? So that's what this is. There's just something else going on in the lunchroom for a minute, and then we'll be able to pick our conversation back up where we left off. So just imagine yourself at a festival full of people, and there's just 17 things going on at the same time. Oh, look, the Mardi Gras parade is happening at Kentucky Music Week. You got to pause the conversation while the parade goes by, or I love that. There's so many fun festivals and festival memories, and none of them have like just a cohesive conversation straight through, right? They all have these fun little moments that pop up. So we're just imagining it.
Someday,
It's okay. I'm just trying to add you back up here. There we go.
you
Yes.
know, someday we'll get Wi-Fi out here in the county, and I won't have this issue.
I know the internet infrastructure is definitely a thing that is inconsistent right now across the country. And it's like some places have great access and some places it's really difficult to do things online. So thank you for toughing it out and trying with us.
Trying. So you've been very patient and getting me back on too. So I don't know where we left off, but yeah, I do have
You have a
lots of
lot of
instruments.
instruments.
Play them all, obviously, very well. I mean, I play around with all of them, but I don't play them very well. But yeah,
What
Mountain
do you think
Dulcimer.
it was about the mountain dulcimer that made that be the one that you sort of worked on excelling in the most?
Like I say, it just immediately touched something very, deep in my soul, and it can be so simple that you can teach a 5-year-old boil them cabbage in 2 minutes, and it can be so there's just so many facets to it. But I think too, like I say, the curiosity of people that hear it, and what is that? And I went to Ireland, and I got to play some songs in a set in a pub, and it was hilarious because they were all, when they saw my case, they were all betting on what was in the case. They actually had a bit going. And the one lady comes up and asks me, "What do you call that thing?" And I said, "It's a dulcimer." She said, "Oh, darn it, I lost. I thought it was an auto harp."
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah. I think I feel similarly. It's just such an interesting instrument, and it's different and unusual, so it catches people's eyes, but also I cannot get to the end of what is possible with it. It feels like I'm constantly like digging deeper and exploring something new and finding new sounds and figuring out something I didn't know was possible before. And that, I don't know, it feels like this endless well that I can tap into with this instrument. So, um, so we're having enough kind of connectivity and it's dropping frequently enough at this point that I think what we might do is wrap up this live stream, and I may try and even have like a phone conversation with Jan that we can record, or we'll try again to get her online maybe when the internet is a little bit more stable, and we will try to sort of have the wrap up of this conversation. But I think we will kind of leave it there for today, and then we'll try and do an addendum or a part two, or kind of a little piece that we get to tack on to the end of it. So, Jan's website is janhammond.net, and you should definitely go check out everything she's doing. She's going to be teaching at Dulcimer Week in the Wallowas in Oregon this summer, and hopefully we'll be hearing a lot more from her. And Jan, I was just saying, I think I'll drop the live stream for now, and then we'll try and kind of pick up and maybe do a part B or an addendum call or something at some point, and add a little more conversation with you. But your poor internet is just a little unstable right now, I think.
We got a lot of wind, and yes, it's been very unstable. So.
Okay. Well, thank you for being here. I'm gonna like officially end the live stream now. So thank you all, friends, for joining in and watching, and we'll have a little more from Jan as some bonus content yet to come. Thanks, y'all. Yeah, so I think what I'll do, Jan, is I'll sort of